Hello there, and welcome to Labour Media. In a world dominated by fiat currency, do you ever stop to ponder what actually creates value? Do you ever wonder why something is worth something? An easy answer would be the law of supply and demand. Price is set by where the demand and supply curves meet, the point of equilibrium. I like saying that was fun to say. With this factor changing based on shifts in those curves, or from government intervention measures such as taxation or price floors, that was significantly harder to say. However, if we apply some cheeky Marxist critique to the proceedings, we can see that value is determined by that which is common to all goods and services: labour. Today we'll be looking at this beautifully bearded gentleman's classic work, Das Kapital, which I believe translates to the capital in German, but I think it could also mean this capital. I've been trying to learn German recently, and if I recall correctly, those words are the same, das being the neutral form of the article the, of which there are 6. Oh, it's still better than English in its stupid pronunciation. That aside, let's see if we can piece together a look at the instrumental role labour plays in our society. For a start, let's look at 2 commodities: 20 yards of linen and 1 coat. I'm sure those of you that have already read Das Kapital know where this is going. Let's say 20 yards of linen equals 1 coat. This allows us to express the value of the coat using the linen as the equivalent. If we had 40 yards of linen, it would follow that it would be worth 2 coats, and 10 yards of linen would be worth half a coat. I don't know who wants half a coat, but to each their own. With this equation, we can use linen as a sort of universal equivalent. Every commodity can hypothetically be turned into an amount roughly equivalent to 20 yards of linen, like 10 pounds of tea, or half a ton of iron. Would it have killed you to use the metric system, Carl? Now, you might be thinking this is an unrealistic way to look at value, because values will stay the same over time. Prices go up and down. The temperature changing will change the price of a coat, for instance. That's true, but how do we express price in a capitalist economy? Through currency. Through pounds, dollars, euros, rupees, oh my. But currency itself plays into this equation. Currency is just the universal equivalent used in place of 20 yards of linen. It's what Marx calls the money form, and its comparative aspects is not separate from the linen. Other commodities can be used in its place. For a great deal of market history, other commodities have been used in place of paper currency, such as beads, among others. Whilst we can say that any commodity is worth X amount of currency, this doesn't tell us the nature of value. Like, some things are worth more than other things. We can put it down to scarcity. If something is scarce, it is worth more currency. I think we're getting to the crux of the issue here. But why are certain things scarce? What is the element common to all commodities that informs value? The answer is human labour power. Now, the labour that creates different articles, like linen and coats, are different. The weaver and tailor perform different tasks, but all human labour, Marx posits, can be broken down into a congelation of human labour power. Human labour is common to all commodities, even with the rise in automation replacing human labour. That automation had to be and has to be developed by human actors. Material resources are of no exchange value unless they're turned into useful articles by human labour. It's the old adage of gold under a field being worthless unless it's dug up. Even the conditions of demand are determined by labour, as those who stimulate the economy are themselves labourers, the vast majority of the population. Labour is the reason we regard commodities as having a certain value, because of the time invested into their production and acquisition that must then be compensated for. However, under the capitalist system, workers get a pittance compared to what they're owed. Billion-dollar companies pay their workers minimum wage, a fraction of their profits. We see here how profit is in itself a form of theft. If we now accept that all value is created by labour, then capitalists forcing the production of more than is socially necessary for the same rates means labour is being performed in surplus. This surplus labour only benefits the capitalist, who has wrung more work out of the labourer whilst making a tiny sum of passive income for their middle management. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this: your time and your work is valuable. Never let anyone tell you that a minimum wage job is something to look down on, like jobs in the primary industry of a domain of failures. Human labour, in all its forms, is what drives society, be it capitalistic or socialistic. This society could not function without your work, and you deserve the full fruits of what you create. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and or leaving a like. Probably ring that bell too. Remember the bell? Remember why they added the bell? I don't. Also, the full transcript for this ramble can be found in the description. Because you might have found I talk very fast. This has been Labour Media, and remember, Labour conquers all.